Maybe that thing you've been doing lately is called quietly quitting. Maybe it's your job. Maybe you're quitting on your relationship or even your life. Hey friend, do you feel like you're just going through the motions, just existing but not really living? Well, you are not alone. First off, I want to introduce myself. My name is Felicia, and I'm so glad you are here with me today. I want to talk about something so close to my heart, something I've experienced in jobs and relationships and even life itself. And it's what I call the quiet quit. I'd love to walk alongside you and explore why this happens. Maybe you had a pretty rough time growing up. Perhaps you're running off of some old program that is not serving you in this season of life. Whatever it was that led you here, I'm glad it did. Because now we can talk about what it means to come home to yourself. Because even in the darkest moments, there is a path forward. So many of us were raised to believe that life follows this strict plan. You work hard, you get a good job, you climb the ladder, and you'll be successful. You'll be happy. Maybe you were raised like I was to believe that hard work equals your worth. That being valuable means overextending yourself to the point of exhaustion just for a paycheck, a title, approval. But what happens when you just cannot reach the top? What happens when the bar keeps getting raised higher and higher? What happens when you do finally reach that level of success and all you feel is emptiness inside? What we don't really often understand is that when you're conditioned to believe that your purpose is tied to how much you give or achieve, you lose yourself. You become this machine, just showing up, doing the bare minimum, and feeling trapped in that cycle of not enough. I remember being there, showing up every day, but feeling like this machine. No matter how much effort I put in, I was replaceable. My time, my energy, and even my worth felt tied to that paycheck, and boy did I feel empty. So I stopped caring like I used to. I did the bare minimum, not because I wanted to slack off, but because I had nothing left to give. I was tired of pouring into something that really didn't pour back into me. Here's the truth. You are inherently worthy. You are more than your productivity or what you give to someone else. Your value isn't something you earn. It's just something you are. You're allowed to pause, to rest, and to redefine success on your terms. But quiet quitting isn't just about jobs. It can be about relationships too. Yep, relationships were another area where I found myself quietly quitting, but not because I didn't care. I quit because I didn't know how to be myself while being loved. You see, childhood trauma and conditioning teach us how to survive, but survival mode doesn't create healthy and loving relationships. I was taught that being emotional was just too much. I learned that in order for me to be accepted, I had to be easygoing, agreeable, and self-sacrificing. I played that role, and I played it well. I molded myself into what everybody else expected, hoping it would make me this awesome, lovable person. But let me tell you something. When you live disconnected from who you really are, even those deepest relationships can feel empty. You become this version of yourself that exists only to be tolerated, not cherished. And another thing, our emotions are what makes us beautifully human. They're part of our divine design, especially for those of us connected to our nurturing, intuitive side. But I still learned to suppress that part of me because I thought it would make me easier to love. But what happens when you shrink yourself over and over and over? You quietly quit. You stay, but you stop hoping for real connection. You stop asking for what you need because you're tired of being unheard. It's lonely, it's draining, and it feels like you're losing yourself piece by piece. You see, love was never meant to be about losing yourself. Real love honors your emotions, your needs, and your boundaries. That took a lot of learning. First off, I had to learn to set boundaries. And then I had to learn to be comfortable with speaking my truth. And then I began to understand that real love doesn't require losing myself. It doesn't require living life drained, becoming this version of yourself that's been molded to these societal roles or all of your past hurts and fears and rejections. Just leaving you bottomed out until one day you realize that you're just there, not truly living in your relationship. And then you wake up and you begin healing. You begin to reconnect with the divine that's in you. That part of you that knows you are worthy of unconditional love. And when you finally show up fully without shrinking or pretending, the right people see and honor you. The hardest quit of all that I faced was with life itself. I'd come to a point where I was feeling like I was grasping for thin air, searching for something to hold on to, and finding nothing steady. Surrounded by voices, opinions, expectations, judgments, but I felt completely disconnected from myself. It's like I was drifting through this storm without an anchor, hoping to find a safe shore, but I had completely lost sight of even the desire to search anymore. This place right here is where so many of us hit our darkest moment, where we feel like life is just too much. And yet, this is also where this beautiful transformation can begin. You see, pain, it's often the soul's way of calling you inward. It's the darkness before this rebirth. It's a breakdown before the breakthrough. Look at it this way. What if this heaviness isn't the end, but instead it's this sacred invitation? And invitation to just strip away everything that isn't really you. All the beliefs, all the roles, all the expectations you've placed on yourself. And what if you just rediscover the powerful, beautiful, amazing being that you are? Because no matter what you're feeling right now, you are not here by accident. You're not broken. You, my friend, are still becoming. In this dark place could be the moment when you realize that the path you're on was never meant to be your path at all. You see, for me, my pain became my greatest teacher. It forced me inward, into what's often called, I guess by so many, the dark night of the soul. The place where I questioned everything I thought I knew about myself, the world, and what I believed was even possible. I tore down every belief that wasn't mine. I faced the pain of all of those childhood wounds and societal programming and the false identities. And that space of nothingness reconnected me to what I call my true self, that divine feminine energy I had ignored for so long. Through all of this, I was able to gently, slowly guide myself into learning that I am the source of my own light, my own worth, and my own abundance. I was completely and totally connected to the source of life, and I found it inside of me. My friend, if you have found yourself quietly quitting, whether it's work or in your relationship or even life, you are not alone and you're not stuck. You were never meant to follow someone else's path. There is no one-size-fits-all life plan. I don't care what you've been told. Your path is unique, and sometimes it takes reaching a place of deep pain to realize that the life you've been living isn't really yours. But I need you to understand, you are not broken, you are not powerless, and you are the source of that beautiful, wonderful, abundant life that you want. Even if it doesn't look like society's version of success, you have everything within you to create meaning and joy and connection. But it starts by honoring what makes you, you. Stop hiding those parts of yourself that you think are too much. They're like your magic. Lean into your emotions, your empathy, your intuition. They're guiding you back home to yourself. You, my friend, are worthy of a life that feels like yours. You're worthy of peace and love and purpose, even if the path right now feels unclear. Sometimes when we're feeling stuck or lost, we get overwhelmed thinking that we need to figure everything out all at once. We look at where we are and we think we should be somewhere else further, and we see this impossible gap in between. But what if life isn't about having it all mapped out? What if the magic, the meaning, and even the healing happens in that tiny little small space in between? Everyday moments where we just take one step forward. You see, I've learned you don't have to know exactly where you're going. You don't need this big old master plan or this perfect vision for your future. You only need the next step. That small, doable action that can move you just a little closer to yourself. What I've discovered is that growth doesn't happen in these huge, giant leaps. It happens in the pauses, in the stillness, in that space between where you are right now and where you're headed. It happens when you choose to listen to yourself, to trust that even the path, when it feels unclear, it's going to get you there, because you are going to be guided by something deeper, your inner knowing, your intuition, your connection to your source of life. If you don't know where to start, here's where I began. Let me help you. First off, pause, reflect, give yourself permission to just slow down. You need to just sit with your emotions without judgment. Allow yourself to feel whatever you need to feel. Number 2, question your story. Don't be afraid to question what beliefs you're living by. Are they yours? Or were they taught to you? And are they serving you? Number 3, reconnect with your inner self. This means spending time just being still. Meditate, pray, journal, whatever it takes to help you hear you. Discover what makes you you, your passions, your feelings, your intuition. Number 4, set boundaries. Protect your energy by choosing who and what you allow into your life. It's okay for you to make that decision that says, I am only going to allow what nourishes my soul. And number 5, choose life on your terms. Remember, you are the source of your joy, your abundance, and love. It's not outside in this world. Create a life that feels like yours, even if it looks different from what society expects. Listen, every step you've taken, even the ones that felt like you were giving up, has led you right here to this exact moment. You've been navigating a path that's yours and yours alone. Even when you feel lost, there is a step forward. Start small. Find one thing that connects you to yourself. One moment, one breath, one choice. Life is lived in those beautiful areas in between where you are and where you're going. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to be willing to take the next step. And as you do, trust that you are supported by your own inner strength, by the lessons you've learned, and by a creator that wants to see you rise. So my friend, when the weight of this world feels too heavy, please remember, you are more powerful, more capable, and more loved than you could ever imagine. Keep going. Keep becoming. You are that light that you've been searching for. With love and understanding. Until next time, guys. See you then. Bye-bye.